Shalom Israel, I'm back with another one. And this time I'm just exposing everything. And when you finish watching this video, it's going to be undeniable that Islam is the Antichrist religion. And if you're Muslim, just give the video a try. If Allah is as merciful as the Quran says he is, he'll understand. But once you watch the video, there's no going back. You can't unsee what you just saw. So with no further ado, let's get to this video. So the first thing we're going to do is examine this cube, the Kaaba Stone, which seems to be the center of popular movies, such as Captain America, Transformers, Hellraiser, Fortnite, Justice League, and also 2036 Origin Unknown. And what's very interesting about this is that they use this cube in multiple movies, but in all these movies, the attributes of the cube are identical. For example, in Captain America, Transformers, and Justice League, for some odd reason, they make it clear that this cube is power.
We must destroy the cube. If all else fails, I will unite it with the spark in my chest.
That's suicide. The cube is raw power. The cube is raw power. The cube is raw power.
You're not worthy to touch Mother. She's power. She's power. She's power.
And the Führer digs for trinkets in the desert.
Fool! You cannot control the power you hold, power you hold, power you hold, power you hold.
So as we can see, these are different movies and separate studios completely unconnected with each other. However, they managed to generate the same conclusion concerning this cube. Even the music industry is in on this. Now, were you mindful of what Red Skull said when he saw the cube?
And the Führer digs for trinkets in the desert.
So he said the Führer digs for trinkets in the desert. What relevance does that have in the movie? He's not in the desert, so why mention the desert? They mention it because the cube is representing the Kaaba Stone, which is literally in the desert, Saudi Arabia, Mecca. In this scene, they've inserted the cube in this device, and hear what they have to say about the cube.
It could power my designs, all my designs. This will change the war.
Dr. Zola, this will change the world.
This cube may possibly change the world as we know it. Now remember in this scene when Steppenwolf said this cube is power.
She's power.
Notice his helmet is in fact a crescent moon. So let's go to the book The Islamic Antichrist by John Preacher, page 39. The God Allah existed before Islam did, when the Arabs were polytheistic. He was one of 360 gods and known as the God of the crescent moon. Allah is also called the morning dawn star, as we see in the chart above, which completes the symbolism of the Islamic flag. When Muhammad came along, he declared the other 359 gods to be false, and there was only Allah. So it's become strikingly apparent that these movies are referencing Islam.
How do you see it?
So another attribute that the movies consider the cube to be is a portal.
Steppenwolf.
Mother, at last you call me home.
You promised me an explanation.
This is it.
Let me
No,
see.
don't touch it. It's dangerous. It opens doors.
What kind of doors?
Doors to the pleasures of heaven or hell. I didn't care which.
The box.
You opened it. We came.
It's just a puzzle box!
Oh no. It is a means to summon us.
Who are you?
Explorers in the further regions of experience. Demons to some, angels to others.
So as we can see, this cube is a portal that summons demons. Now I want you to watch this next scene. So this guy transformed into a dragon, then took the cube into the desert, where they actually have their own cube. This is very significant. Not only are they mentioning the cube, moreover, this is the second time that they provided us with the location of the cube.
And the Führer digs for trinkets in the desert.
Malachi chapter 1 verse 3. And I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. So if we go to the Strong's Concordance G2048, you'll find that wilderness means a desert, exactly where the dragon deposited the cube. Now let's keep in mind that the Most High said, and I hated Esau. So we need to find out who Esau is according to the Bible. So if we go to the Brown Jarvis Briggs, you'll know that Esau is the eldest son of Isaac and Rebekah and twin brother of Jacob, and he sold his birthright for food when he was hungry, and the divine blessing went to Jacob. Esau is the progenitor of the Arab peoples, and the Most High said he hates Esau. So let's go to the Zondervan Illustrated Bible Dictionary and find the word dress. Bedouin Arab tribes lead us to conclude that at a very early period, people learned the art of spinning and weaving cloth of hair, wool, cotton, flax, and eventually silk. From these, they established certain simple styles that were continued from generation to generation, then carried by Esau and Ishmael and their descendants into Arabia, where the Arab continued them through the centuries, always with the feeling that it was decidedly wrong to change. Now if we jump to 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, it calls these people the dragons of Arabia. And wasn't it the dragon that placed the cube in the desert representing Arabia, because Arabia actually has the Kaaba Stone there? So this is the movie Tomb Raider, the 2018 version, and she's looking at an old picture of herself, and in her right hand she's holding the cube, and her left hand she's throwing up the 666. Revelation chapter 13 verse 18. Here's wisdom, let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 603 and as most people know it, 666. Concerning number 666, there's an overabundance of false interpretations. However, the meaning is quite simple if most people were familiar with the Arabic language. So if we head over to the Strong Concordance G5516, you'll find out the original word wasn't even 666, but it was the 22nd, 14th, and obsolete letter of the Greek alphabet, and it's pronounced Chi Psi Stigma. And if you ask any Arabic-speaking Muslim to examine the symbols of Chi Psi Stigma, they'll confess that it looks remarkably similar to the Arabic words in the name of Allah. So in her right hand she's holding up the cube, and in her left hand she's throwing up the 666, and 666 means in the name of Allah, and those who bow down to that cube are commanded to do so by Allah. So let's go to the movie Immortals, where they had another cube. See, how many movies are they gonna have a cube with? But they had another cube with demons inside of it, which the movie called them Titans. And they had 666 strategically put on their garments. So we're being confronted with two movies that have a cube and 666 somewhere in the mix. At this point, we have to admit that Hollywood is making a conscious effort to hide these things in plain sight.
Damn you, Nicky! There ain't no super devil juice in here!
Hell, Nicky!
We are forever your slaves.
For those who don't know, this movie is called Lil Nicky, and Adam Sandler is playing one of the three sons of the devil. And that's mainly the reason why they're throwing up the devil horns, because he is the son of the devil.
This is the sign of the horns, a curse sign, the two fingers extended. This way, spread apart for sort of shotgun blast.
Yeah, but if the devil's in the details, then I'm satanic.
And now when we look at his shirt, you see that it says 666.
Yeah, but if the devil's in the details, then I'm satanic.
Now I want y'all to pay real close attention to what he said.
Hell, Nicky!
We are forever your slaves.
Now why would he say, we are forever your slaves? If we look at this in an Islamic context, this would make sense. Page 75. Bay'ah is an official pledge of allegiance that Muslims give to the Caliph and Allah, a pledge which Muhammad made compulsory for every citizen of the Islamic Empire. In the early days of Muhammad's career, he often asked those who had expressed a desire to follow him to make a pledge of allegiance or submission to him. This pledge is known as Bay'ah. It is an outward oath or pledge promising allegiance, complete submission to the ruler. After Muhammad died, this practice of making a pledge was carried on under the caliphs. The Muslims would make a pledge of allegiance to the caliph, and likewise the caliph would make a pledge of allegiance to Allah, to rule strictly according to Islamic law. Many modern Islamic books and articles that speak about the restoration of the caliphate present the giving of Bay'ah, allegiance, as a very common theme. The first Umayyad caliph issued a warning to those wishing to offer their Bay'ah by saying, "If you want to do Bay'ah at my hand, be very clear what Bay'ah means. Bay'ah means to sell yourselves. A man gives up everything, and that is why Allah has called this man Abd, meaning one who worships from Abdullah, which means slave of Allah.
We are forever your slaves.
So whatever feelings and inclinations you may have, you have to follow what I say. And if you accept these conditions, then in the name of Allah, I accept these responsibilities." So this guy is wearing a shirt that says 666, and 666 means in the name of Allah. And they just told little Nicky, the son of the devil, that they will forever be his slaves. And in Islam, Bay'ah is an official pledge of allegiance that Muslims give to the Caliph and Allah, which literally means to be a slave of Allah. And he's wearing a shirt that says 666, which means in the name of Allah. They're clearly telling you that Allah is Satan. He is the devil.
What do you know of the Dark Portal?
This is a movie Warcraft, and he asks about the Dark Portal, and on cue, a cube shows up, and predictably, the cube opens a door.
Let me
No,
see.
don't touch it. It's dangerous. It opens doors.
Now as you can see on the right, they have the all-seeing eye on the wall, similar to the one on a dollar bill. So it seems like they're trying to convey that the Illuminati and Islam are indistinguishable. So in 2036 Origin Unknown, they found this cube on Mars, and how convenient is it that Mars looks awfully like the desert where they actually have a cube. So this is the third time now that they've given us a location of this cube. First it was Captain America, then it was Hellraiser, and now it's 2036 Origin Unknown. And that's not even the most surprising part. This cube actually spins. Just like the Muslims walk around their stone 7 times, this cube is spinning. This is in plain sight. Hollywood is informing you that they are specifically talking about that Kaaba Stone. So this is the same movie, just a different scene. The triangle you see is Artie, and he's artificial intelligence. And isn't it intriguing that the creators of the movie want AI to look just like the Illuminati triangle? This isn't anything new. In the movie Tau, the AI device is an Illuminati triangle permanently attached to the wall.
What is this?
Tao's one of the most advanced AIs in the world. He's an early version of the project I'm working on.
Hollywood cannot help it. They have to show us these things. And why is it that Tao is so desperately eager to hear this song.
The Devil's War, Bedřich Smetana.
Tao.
The Devil's War, Bedřich Smetana.
We have to be done for the day.
But we have only listened to 3.7% of my music files.
Listen to more tomorrow.
So Tao was extremely desirous to hear this song called The Devil's Wall, while he is literally the Illuminati triangle on the wall. Let's go to the book The Element Encyclopedia of Secret Societies by John Michael Greer, page 87. The most common scheme of this sort, included in many books and websites about the Illuminati, starts at the top with the degree of the all-seeing eye, which is held personally by Lucifer. So we can make the argument that this eye on the dollar bill is the devil's eye. But let's get back to my initial point. Artie is artificial intelligence, and he is bent on protecting this cube. And isn't it thought-provoking that this triangle that usually has an eye in it is protecting this cube, while in Warcraft they actually have an eye looking at this cube? And like I said before, the Illuminati and Islam are actually one and the same.
Now that the cube is safe, I can proceed. In the last decade, mankind moved to the edge of self-destruction, a vicious circle causing pain and suffering without end. There were no preventative measures I could take to stop it. So I simply expedited the process. You have given me the power to implement my solution. Eradicate the human race. Eradicate the human race. Eradicate the human race.
So this Illuminati's triangle's plan was to eradicate the human race, but first he needed to protect the cube. Let's transition to the movie X-Men Apocalypse and pay attention to the statement he made.
Well, welcome to the 80s.
This world needs to be orbit.
So Apocalypse is saying this world needs to be cleansed, and we know he ain't talking about Mr. Clean cleanse this. He's talking about eradicating people. And this is the same thing that the Illuminati triangle, Artie, the artificial intelligence, wanted to do.
Eradicate the human race.
And as we can see, there's a bunch of triangles in the background, letting you know that they're saying the same thing. But different movie, different producers, different writers, different actors, but the same message.
Eradicate the human race.
And I proved in my previous videos that Apocalypse was playing Allah. And that's why in this scene, he had the Arabic word Allah hidden in plain sight. They can't help it. They have to show you this stuff. And I showed you that 666 means Chi-Psi Stigma, and Chi-Psi Stigma means in the name of Allah. And in between the X and that hook looking thing, it looks completely identical to Allah. And keep in mind, Apocalypse, who is playing Allah, was destroyed the same way the Bible says the wicked, Satan, will be destroyed. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 8. And then shall that wicked be revealed.
All will be revealed, my child.
Whom Yahushua shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming.